Happy Monday, everybody. How you doing? I'm back at my tree. It's very nice here. Well, what a week. We have the Tories back in. Way. Well, I voted Green. You know that already. I had a really profound breakthrough on Wednesday, and it was an amazing realisation that relates back to all the birth work that I do and how this relates to everybody. We've all been born. And actually the way that we've been born affects us very deeply, and the way that we carry babies affects us very deeply. Now, I didn't actually go back to my birth when I was thinking about this, but I was going through an experience where I was sharing that I was feeling like I was in a long labour again, a long, arduous labour that was just taking too long. And this is me birthing my new project that I'm working on and feeling stuck in some creative elements of it. And my coach, Susanna Kennedy, really helped me to sort of get in touch with what the pattern was. And I actually described my daughter's birth. I described that I had so much internal fear around giving birth that I actually was holding my daughter up in my body, the iliopsoas muscle, which this affects many, many women who have a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear around giving birth. Was preventing my daughter's head from engaging in the pelvis. So that was one aspect. And the second was that I was so frightened that I couldn't actually open up and dilate, and my cervix wouldn't dilate, so it went on for 4 days and eventually she was born. But really hard work and quite unnecessary, and that's what leads me to the work that I do today. But if we look at this as an analogy for life, literally, and opening up to the creative energy, to the divine energy that's available to us all. If you're not into divine, then the source energy, the energy that can help us to be motivated to move forward, comes through the crown of your head. We have energy that we connect to from the earth and we pull up through our bodies. We have energy that we draw down through the crown of our head, through the energy system we know as the chakras. Now, I'm known for having really good intuition, except my radar goes really off key, really off key if I am frightened. If I have a fear and anxiety, then it really sends me off. And I've talked before about how fear scrambles our intuition, and actually how it scrambles the messages that we're perceiving. So if you've got energy coming in, and in the analogy of this birth situation, I am distorting my daughter's positioning through my fear. You know, this is not a blame thing, it's just something that happened, and it's a big observation to come to terms with. So my fear of giving birth and my sort of misperception around birth was causing me to bind in such a way internally that it was preventing my daughter from being in a position that was optimal for her, which is this misalignment and misperception and intuition going skew-if. And also the deep fear I held in me was preventing me from opening up and trusting life to support me through the process, so I wasn't dilating. Now, I'm sharing this with you because if you have the opportunity to find out about your own birth, the circumstances of your mother carrying you, how happy she was, how fearful she was about giving birth, what type of intervention she had, how long you took to come, whether you were late, you were early, all that kind of thing plays a huge impact in our personalities. And I've said before that much of who we think we are is actually who we've been programmed to be in order to survive. That's what all my Fearless Living workshops and work is around, and what my digital products are based on. But when you sort of bring this back to even your own children, and if you're a woman and you've given birth, or if you're a partner of a woman who's given birth, you can kind of get a sense of, again, the sort of anxieties, the mindset, and how that affects the physical. So we can apply this to anything in our lives, and we can apply a deep understanding. Now, those of you who know me know my passion is to work through deep-rooted fears, and I come from a background of having many of them. So I've definitely noticed that, you know, I'm getting clearer and clearer and clearer, and there is far less rocking my world in a negative way, but the stuff that is still very, very deep. And the only way to heal it is to love it, to observe it, to love it. And remember that, you know, when we're not sure what to do, it's really good to just take a step back and realign with our hearts, and just to get a sense of how we want to move forward. I'm becoming so aware at the moment of how much my conditioning in my romantic life and also in my financial life has been affecting me and preventing me from moving forward. And I have this expectation that everything has to be hard work. Anything that I really, really want, anything I really long for, has to be hard work. So think back also to the messages you got as a child, about working towards something, about how much effort you have to put in, about relationships, about money, and just contemplate if there's something big in your life right now that doesn't seem to be going right. What are the beliefs you have around this issue that might be preventing it? It's really got me to look at my control issues and also to look at subtle manipulation, which is very easy to see in other people. When we've talked about the shadow self and we've talked about the self-saboteur, we remember that we project outwards what we don't like to face in ourselves. We see it very easy in other people, but not in us. So the people that trigger you have got the greatest messages to teach you. May that be your blessing this week. That doesn't mean you have to love everybody, roll over and get kicked in the face at all. It just means take a look at what's triggering you and contemplate whether that might have some resonance in you. And all we have to do to shift things is self-forgiveness, self-acceptance. Like, there's a whole host of reasons why we are the way we are, and until we have more positive, more healthy ways of being, the current systems we have in place to protect us work very well, and they're there for a reason and need to be loved. So with a deeply compassionate sense for yourself right now, just look at where you're struggling, how that might have related to your early life, and more than anything, just love yourself through it. I love you, me, that is having this trouble, and thank you very much, Tara. I love Perry for that one. Just loving the bits of you. I love you, me, that always gets it wrong. I love you, me, that always flies off the handle in this situation. Like, can you really say I love you to those bits that you can't stand in yourself? Try it this week. Have a wonderful week. My post next week will be from Morocco. All right, if you don't hear from me, you know why. Take care. Mwah. Lots of love.